School Engineer back again with another episode. We are live on episode 5 of our podcast, and I'm here with Masimba Togara back again for another episode.
What it do? What's up? Glad to be back. And yeah.
I'm still shocked we're still doing this. You think I'm not shocked? Okay, I'm still shocked we're still doing this because
we're actually here at this point.
Yeah, man.
With so much of the chaos that's probably happening for both of us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a low-key miracle that we're doing this with some level of consistency.
And I'm happy we're still doing this because there are days, I'm like, do we have to do this?
Really? We can always skip a week.
Come on, guys. I just feel like skipping and canceling, and I was like, yeah, no, we'll do this next week.
We do it next week. Of which, of course, it's always a start of a certain cycle, which probably never ends and leads to eventual, cancellation or something.
Yeah. But anyways, how was your week, man? How was your school week?
Of course, my school week has been hectic as usual. It's always intense. I'm even dreading the upcoming one, because it's one of those weeks where so many things are cramped in together, assignments, tests, lectures, all waiting for you. So it's going to be a really hectic one. But fortunately, I'll be going into a mid-semester break. So, I'm kind of happy. It's something I'm looking forward to. Kind of gives me hope.
Yes. Speaking of assignments, I have economics notes I have to write and finish by tomorrow at 8.
Hey, there's something waiting for you. Hey, same here, bro. I have to kind of conclude my studying for the 2 tests I'm having tomorrow. And it's low-key hectic. Anyways, it's kind of like exam and test season, even for like the high school kids, the kids doing IGCSE, A-levels, what else, PSLE. This is around the time where it's exam season. I'm guessing a lot of people are writing.
Yeah, I think it's our last month in school. It's our last official month in school for most kids. So this is the time when they're wrapping up syllabi and teachers are doing that last minute, less notes, more past papers, less learning, more practicing, less new stuff, more catching up on the old stuff. And all of that, some things you last learned in Form 2 and Form 3 or Standard 5, Standard 6, and now you're trying to
recall,
fetch them and recall all of them. So I think I can remember myself at this bodily and in Form 4 and in A-levels. So
what sort of mindset do you think you were in at this point in time?
Okay, let's start off with PSLE because
that was the first big thing.
Yeah, that was the first big thing. I remember our Standard 7 teacher before we wrote PSLE is like, you have nothing except your birth certificate, so you have to work to get the certificate.
Hey, bro, that was a universal PSLE teacher joke.
Yeah, I guess.
It was universal, like all you have is your birth certificate and your medical report for polio. Nothing else.
At least you had that. I was just told I have my birth certificate. So, okay, let me see my mindset. In September, first of all, when I was in PSLE, I can't say I didn't care about school or I didn't care about life or I didn't care about grades, but like in all due I knew I had to pass. And as far as I know, God blessed me with the ability of knowledge, or at least, should I say, smartness, as other people put it.
Yeah.
So when I was in Standard 7, wasn't a big thing. I was like, dude, I got this. This is easy. There was no real pressure, you know.
Yeah.
There was no mindset I had to. Oh, school I was in, they didn't. How should I put this? They didn't create a mindset of an environment of pressure, which I say now exists in a lot of schools nowadays. They didn't create an environment of pressure that you know it's this is all in or nothing, or like this is the hardest moment in your life, or any of that. It was just, dude, just go read for the exams. Can you just learn that this is
go
how
read.
you
Like
add.
most of the stuff you're doing is multiple choice.
Exactly. So that's what I owe it to. And I don't remember us doing a lot of revision work in Standard 7. You know, I can't even so as to recall how I studied for PSLE, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I forgot what was happening in Standard 7, but like actual thing of studying for PSLE, man, I don't remember. I remember doing, you know, exercise with teachers and classes, coming for holiday lessons. We didn't celebrate Independence Day as in Standard 7 because we were revising for exams. That's what I remember. I remember we were revising. Like,
Because you're like, everyone else is having a holiday except us.
Hey, that's what's weird. What's weird about that? There was that holiday, right? You know, Independence, it's all about Siswa and vibes and Botswana flags and going to the
BTV,
and stuff.
like the live presentation.
Independence is one thing that marks exams for me. I know, like after Independence, exam starts. Well, at least when I was back home. Mm-hmm. So, that one holiday we were writing, like we were revising during Independence. I remember there's a guy who decided to bunk class to go to the Khotla to go and have Siswa.
Hey, bro, that's when you know these were easier times.
Exactly.
That's banking classes for child.
You see, and I mean, obviously, he got an A at the end of.
Yeah, I mean, he was there for throughout the year, so chances of him getting an A pretty close.
Yeah.
It was just it was just one banking.
Exactly. The teacher did throw some banter. You know, he was angry. The teacher was not angry per se, but he was just disappointed to say that.
Wow, Hukwala se swamo exam.
Exactly. That's something he said. And it was a simple one. Oh man. And so this teacher taught me about Standard 4 and Standard 7. So he was quite familiar with our group. It wasn't, he didn't have first-hand experience. I mean, he met us for the second time, so he already knew our mindset. So hey, it was just comedy.
For us, actually, I think.
No. Yeah, you were saying.
Oh, I was saying for me personally, to be honest, it was kind of chilled, like what you're saying. There wasn't that much pressure.
Yeah.
It was only probably if you're known probably as the smart kid or something, you know, you want to keep that reputation going in because in that they had the whole top 10 or something like that. That's probably something that gave me a bit of motivation when it came to studying for PSLE and trying to and having a perfectionist type of point of view.
Mentality.
Yeah, mentality.
Yeah. What reminded me to study was my teacher constantly telling me, or should I say nagging me, that I should strive to be the best. Because I was smart, like I said, but dude, I honestly didn't put in the effort. Like, dog, I just pulled through to school. You're a Standard 7. Be a Standard 7, dog. If I look at Standard 7s today and I see them clowning around, I'm like, dude, I don't blame you. It was probably me 8, 7
but
years
they don't.
ago.
If you think about it, like I have a younger brother, right? And right now I think he's in Standard 5. And the things which he's doing, I'm like, yo, these are stuff. This is stuff which you learned in Standard 7. Why are you doing this?
No, I mean like just general behavior or like how they assess life.
Yeah, it's vibes. It's just about chows,
not as a
banter,
joke.
and
If you see, just vibes. Because I remember when we were writing exams, I can write, you write PSLE like 1 week, Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
that's it, you move on. It's over. Ah, dog. There were days like during the week, like every day, not even like during the week. On the days of PSLE, like let's say we have maths on Monday and we come to school on that way. We have to come to school like actually when we were in primary, we were told to come to school at the same time as kids who were opening school, as the kids who were still in school. So like even if the exam starts at 10 a.m., at 7 you still have to be in school.
Oh yeah.
I think it was just to make sure we all right and we're all on time.
Yeah, yeah.
So niggas were just so relaxed that even during like 3 hours before the exam, we just jamming soccer with the paper ball in class.
With the paper ball in or creating, you can even create the plastic one if you had enough papers. If somebody just bought a plastic of bread or something like that. For us, it used to be this other spot behind our class. There was this spot which we played between standard 5 and standard 7. There was this spot which we played against like standard 6s, standard 5s, and we jammed there. We were always there. And those were the days, man.
So like that was the case with us as well. So like we would just come, or like even if you're not playing soccer, you just be chilling there, just chilling, just vibing, dog.
Yeah, just chilling.
I mean,
because it's like you had one exam per week. Like
it was just vibes. Exactly, one exam per day.
Oh yeah,
one exam.
Wait, but there were like 6 subjects, right? Is it 5 or 6?
7.
Depending.
7 subjects for like people who wrote Setswana, and then 6 for expatriates, people who didn't write Setswana.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there were days we had two what's this called? 2 exams papers, per day, but like it wasn't anything heavy. Like maybe it's like a 1 hour paper in the morning, and then like you have like a 1 hour lunch or something
in the afternoon. Yeah,
afterwards you write. So yeah, that was standard 7. It was just vibes, and yeah, those vibes, you get your nice young mark, A, B. That doesn't matter, to be honest. I only realized this like many years later. It's standard 7. I mean, the mark you get, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Really, whether you get an A or a C, same thing. You're all going to Form 1.
Yeah, same thing. Now, I unfortunately was in a very competitive school. They felt like they had a reputation to live up to. So, everyone was A's were demanded of everyone.
Yeah.
So there were days we'd feel overworked. There were days we just feel like we're just animals, not animals, but like just feel like it's just too tough, man. We're just 13. I want to go out and play soccer. I want to go swim in the swimming team. We like
and then they're telling you come for holiday lessons. But for us, actually, we never had holiday lessons. Come to think of it, the only time we started having holiday lessons was probably when we were doing our PhDs. And even then, it wasn't that frequent.
It wasn't serious. I liked holiday lessons.
I doubt I was chilled.
Like, I didn't care about like what I was doing at class, because okay, fine. At least I'll be with my friends.
Yeah,
And holiday lessons, I liked them because one, okay, I'm a kid that liked school. I didn't like learning like in class, but like just the school
environment.
School in primary to me, I liked. So like, and what I liked during holiday lessons was the fact that it was just us standing. When school is empty.
What? When the kids were there, they were annoying?
It wasn't annoying, but like, it's just nice when it's just you and the people you're there with.
Yeah, you're mostly familiar with.
Yeah, not that you hate the people who are not there or like they annoy you or anything, but like just that serenity and peaceness and calmness. You feel it in a different way.
Oh yeah, especially when the preschool kids are absent, because those ones.
You see. So yeah, that was 10 and 7. It was vibes. So yeah, and then yeah, I mean, those that got A's and did really well and like got in the top 10, the government awarded them, you know. That was vibes. Now it's just like, hey man, I got what I was told to get. Now I want to go to high school now.
Now I want to go to high school. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But how were you excited to get into high school? Because I was like, because with us at Delta, the high school kids would like put on jeans and then they had white shirts and they had sneakers on. And we were like, these guys are rocking this every day. When us, we had like regular uniform, green pants, you know, with the formal shoes, the praise guards with the white shirts as well. So and then we were like, nah, this is not it. Like everyone who was a primary school student either wanted to go to Delta or OIS because they put on jeans in high school. So that was one thing I remember being excited about. Like, I'm going to be swagging out every day, dripping in sauce. Were you excited about high school?
One thing, I think, before I went to high school, there was Delta was in the picture of like, was once in the possible list of high schools I was going to go to. One of the reasons my parents refused Delta was the uniform.
They were like too informal.
It was right as long as they're black. So I was like, and then my parents were like, yeah, no, we're not taking you to a school where you dress like a normal person. I was like, okay.
Why not?
Uniform.
But in a way, funny thing, it is uniform in itself because everybody is putting on.
Exactly.
And there are also limitations.
That's what I later found out.
You couldn't put on jeans with cuts on them and stuff like that. Or with too many varying colors.
Standardization of
yeah, there was a bit of standardization, but then it was quite loose. And there are always some kids who would never really listen.
Was loose. That's true. But even in the normal uniform structure where the kids wear uniform, there are kids who still don't listen. Like, let's say we're told, okay, we're gonna wear gray pants and the school shirts with like the school badge and all that. It's gonna be that one kid who pulls through with gray dickies. And we all know gray dickies don't look like your normal gray school pants.
Yeah.
And it's gonna cause problems in the school administration. But his argument is going to be they're gray and they're pants.
And they're pants. And then own still source out.
Realize that uniform. Yeah, you see, I later realized that uniform doesn't really matter. Okay, it matters to an extent, kind of uniform is on. As long as it's uniform, that's what makes it uniform.
I think originally it was just to like originally uniform, I think it was designed to kind of debunk statuses, when it came to how rich or how unfortunate certain students were. Kind of wanted to bring out a level playing. But then as time progressed, I feel like it became sort of a control thing. You get.
So with the history, that is actually a sort of like mindset that was in it. Uniform started off as a Spartan thing. It was a Sparta, right? Sparta is the Greek place with soldiers. Yes, it was a Spartan ideology wherein the Spartans were soldiers. Was a primarily militant area. Yeah. So on the same level, the rich, the poor were all the same, were all soldiers. So uniform, as the name suggests, was to make them feel the same, on the same ground, on the same thing. And That's how schools and maybe industries and other places, institutions later got to adopt it from that initially Greek Spartan ideology, and people. Yeah, I think it should fall, man. Okay, no. Okay, I'm on the fence about it, in the sense that in bots, that's where I know the place most. In bots, it's not everyone that can afford to change their outfit at least 7 times a day, or like 5 times a day.
Even
So
me,
it's gonna.
the way I'm smartly rotate. When I was going on campus, I smartly rotate.
Even me.
There's no way I can put on different outfits.
Exactly. Even me.
For the whole school week.
The whole week, yeah. You see, and there's gonna be that stigma with the kid who can't rotate outfits and stuff like that. But at the same time, also. Yeah, at the same time also, uniform has become too big of an issue in some certain schools, such that maybe if your pants are not gray enough, you can't come to school.
You have to go home and change.
Shape, yeah, can't come to school. We once had a classmate, not classmate, he was in a lower stream than I was. This guy, he came to ours while we were in Form 3. He was in Form 2. So, yes. When I was in Form, while I was in Form 3, he was in Form 2. So, basically, he didn't start school in our school. And he came to school wearing this other shoe called Omega. I don't know if you know the shoe. Omega, yeah. It's a Pantola Kasi type of shoe style, dog.
I thought Grazi was the main thing.
I'll get to Grazi, the short, the history of, but I mean like Omega. Okay, Grazis are Kasi, yes, true, but like Omega Kasi is like if you want to see a guy who's if you want to see a guy who's true Kasi or true Pantola or true not Ghetto, but true Kasi, true Pantola, he owns an Omega, dog.
Somehow.
And he was one of those guys. His previous school, he wore Omegas. He came to school in Omegas. And to me, okay, these are black school shoes. These are not school shoes. These are black shoes, black leather shoes, and the Omegas. Now they didn't have a normal school shoe shape like a Bronx or a Tie. So they kind of like stuck out.
Yeah.
Among people, and it's
easily noticeable.
So it kind of bothered the school administration because it was a new thing. No one had ever worn Omegas in school before, ever. And I remember he once got into an argument with the school. He told him to take off his shoes and buy Grasshoppers or like buy Bronx, just normal school shoes. Like, but these are black leather shoes.
Yeah.
What do we say? I don't know how I'm infringing the school laws. So that's what I mean when I say some of these school uniform regulations are they're taken too far, because even when you're trying to keep the rules, they say you're not keeping the rules because somehow. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I think we've diverged from the topic. Yes, I was talking about from experience in Form 4. Well, Form 4, that was like my next biggest exams.
Is it you didn't have an exam in between? Because for us we had what is it called? Checkpoint. We had checkpoint in Form 2. You guys didn't have checkpoint.
We skipped checkpoint. It wasn't important.
Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't. We just wrote it for the sake of writing.
As the names, you see, as the name suggests, it's just a checkpoint. So, Form 4 now, my life is now literally in my hands. It's not like standard 7, whether you maybe get an A or get a C or get a B. It doesn't affect what you're going to do or where you're going to be next year.
Mm-hmm.
All that matters is that you can get into a school maybe you like. Now, Form 4 was like, okay, first of all, what subjects am I gonna do? Like that was in Form 3. Second of all,
Form 3.
what am I gonna do after Form 4? How many grades do I want? Level of independent responsibility that you have on yourself.
Yeah, I think in Form 3, that's when you kind of realize how much now the balance is kind of in your hand when it comes to where you want to be in your life career-wise, because it's not like the options, they were not very flexible. It's usually
they were not very flexible.
Your subjects were going to be science dominant, or they were going to be commercials dominant. You get usually it's either you choose between one or the other. There wasn't really much of a variation. And of course, there were always the compulsory subjects that you had to do your maths and maybe some of the sciences, which is kind of funny how you would have maths and the sciences as compulsory subjects, and then you don't have any commercial subjects as compulsory, which I thought was a funny thing when it came to how our school did things.
Actually, once raised like a, well, I had this other basic level of thought like me. So like we also had this idea that it's very wrong for kids to not learn about at least business, or also not only business but English literature. She was an English teacher, so she felt that every student should be doing English literature because you learn to think outside the box. I don't know if you've done any sort of like literature thing, but
most of the literature I've done is mainly independent, like post Form 2. Because from Form 1 and Form 2, we had this teacher, English teacher, who was supposed to kind of be teaching us English language, but then it kind of became a mixture of English language and English literature, where he encouraged us to read books, and then at a certain day of the week, we'd kind of review the books and summarize what we had read and kind of what we learned from them and stuff like that, which was pretty good. But then from Form 3 onwards, I didn't do literature because it coincided with, I think it was chemistry. So, and I was doing chemistry, so I couldn't do literature at the same time.
I also wanted to do literature when I was there in high school. You're wired. So I was doing pure sciences. My lessons clashed with physics, so they were like, yeah, no, you can't do literature because what. And then I was like, okay, fine, at least give me accounting. They're like, okay, fine. You know, with regards to accounting, we were forced to do one of the accounting geography. I love geography with a passion. Actually got an A star for it. But I also loved accounting and I was good at it.
Hey, boys. But so you kind of had to make a choice of whether you lean one way or the
other. So yeah, I mean, I think that's another thing about Form 4. You now have to make sacrifices based on
and compromise
everything, your abilities, in order to allow themselves to focus on other subjects. Some people picked up new subjects because they felt they were all important, and you know. or Form
Like,
5,
I
your
ended up
life is
even,
personal and your subject choices are personal.
yeah, like I ended up
Mm-hmm.
picking one extra subject called DVS just
Yeah,
because it would kind of rack
yeah,
up on the A
see.
stars.
Yeah, you see. So that was my case as well. Not mine. No, I didn't end up picking a new subject or anything. But like, from the list of subjects I could pick, I picked the ones the I was interested in, so that I don't get bored while I'm learning. Two ones I'm most able to actually learn, do something in. Yeah, and
Or
sometimes
something that you feel
three,
like
I
would
like
be
the
close
teacher.
to what you're gonna do career-wise.
Yeah, if you feel like you're gonna do career-wise. But another thing we usually forget is that sometimes the teacher who's going to teach us plays an influence.
Yeah, on how we're going to feel about that subject.
Because I dropped was simply because I did not want to be taught by that teacher, or maybe I had a bad relationship with that teacher or something like that. So that was Form 4. And then when exams came now, that September period. Hey. So with Form 4, I think just from my own personal insight, I think I started to take my life seriously at a maybe later stage in high school. Not late, but at a later stage. Like towards the end of, I really stopped clowning around. I wasn't a clown or anything, but I was clowning around. I don't know if that makes sense.
As in you're just vibing.
Like, yeah, I was just relying on my natural ability.
And you never really put in a lot of work.
Yeah, I didn't put in a lot of work. So after this one prize giving, I think it was my Form 2 prize giving. Form 2, yeah. Which was weird because that prize giving, I had not only received around 6 prizes, I was top of the class. So my class teacher then calls me to the side. He's like, yeah, no, you underperformed this year. You're not living
up to your full potential.
Yeah, and at first I was like, dude, what do you mean? I just
Do you see these certificates in my hands? I made them my son.
Do you see this? Exactly. And there was that bit of arrogance.
Yeah, like what's this guy talking
about? That was literally, I'm like, look at this Kwan dog. Yeah, then I was like, and then exactly. Then towards the end of that year, I was like, okay, maybe she's onto something. Yeah,
Yeah, let's see. Let's
Form
just
3,
see how it goes.
Yeah, and then I started to maybe reconstruct my life. Then Form 4, that's when I was like, yo, it's getting real out here. Yeah. So I started doing my best. So like I had a coursework. I think one subject that really woke me up, maybe 2 subjects that woke me up, were the ones I achieved the best in, was D&T and geography. Now D&T coursework subject, so I had a project to do. Now I was behind on this project. In relation to all my other classmates, I was the last person to start my project. I was the last person to receive my, everyone had a unique project art, not paper, but everyone had like a unique project folder, right? So we had to design it ourselves and submit it, and we receive it. I was the last one to submit my design after procrastinating and lazing around. I was like, yeah, man, I got this. I can do this. I got time.
Not
and
an
then,
issue.
So like usually how the project is you do all your paperwork first. Like you do all the drawings, the suggestions, your ideas, and everything. And only after you finish the first part of after you finish your first prototyping and after you finish basically your idea stage. Woke up, first person in class, started to build our project, and I hadn't even started. I was like, yeah, no, gents, okay, fine. School starting, nice. I think I should start taking school seriously. And I submitted my project on the day of the deadline when people submitted theirs weeks before. I was the very last person, the very last.
Hey, you made life an extreme sport, eh?
Exactly. That's why. So that's why Form 4 was a bit of a
hectic one.
That's phase. One thing was to submit the project once in September. Some people submitted theirs in August. I submitted mine in September. And also, not only was I working on the project, which I could have done earlier, I was working on just school itself, studying subjects and all of that. And Form 4 was a bit heavy.
I think for us, since like we wrote those examinations in Form 5, it was slightly less intense. There was slightly less pressure because we had more time. And Form 5 was kind of like a revision phase where, we were just revising the stuff we knew. But then, of course, as time went, even though I was performing well in the tests and what have you, it became clear when we started heavily going into full past papers and stuff that I'm gonna need extra lessons here for certain subjects. So I kind of had to have extra lessons for certain subjects and really had to work on them, extra time. Luckily enough, then at home there was no like Wi-Fi and stuff, so I didn't have too many distractions at home, so I could actually full on study and go on. So I guess that was the fortunate part.
I was in boarding. I think that's one thing I'm thankful for. The fact that I was in boarding. If I wasn't in boarding, there was going to be so many things that were distracting me. I was in boarding, no phones were allowed. There's no internet in hostel, no computers. So it was just you and your books. If you need research, you have to go through a whole process of asking permission to actually do research in the school. And that was only time and even in doing that research at school, you are not allowed to be caught on sites like Facebook, Instagram, and all kinds of social media, Twitter, and so on. Just that environment set me up for a lot of focus
and success. Yeah, I totally agree. I guess I kind of had a similar path when it came to the exam season. Where, of course, even when it comes, even though I could use like social media and whatever, because we didn't have Wi-Fi, that means it was limited. I could only do so much within a day. You get, because I was using subscriptions.
Yeah, me too.
So that means also I had limitations, and I thus had more time to focus on certain things, to do other things, other down and be on my phone or watch series or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
I would have done.
Actually, I think at that time I didn't have a natural ability to watch movies and series. I didn't like them. So like whenever I was home on holidays, it's either I'm studying because I have no choice, or like I'm out with friends. But like at that time, all my friends are studying. So like if all my friends are studying and I'm not studying, what am I thinking? So I'll be studying, or we're studying together.
Let's go study.
And then what I did the most in September during this phase, just before exams, to be honest, I was just pass papers, dog. There were some subjects, the last time I opened that notebook was like in August or July.
Yeah, cobwebs and all that. You find it in there.
Cobwebs. Some subjects I even lost the notebooks for months before exams. People are asking, "Hey, dog, can I borrow your notebook?"
Your notebook. Yeah, because isn't own that
That's
own book
nice
never
of you
wrote
to
books.
assume I have a notebook.
Very
Exactly. I was like, nice of you to assume I don't
nice
have
of
a
you to
notebook.
assume.
I have a notebook. Dog. I think chemistry. Chemistry, I never have a notebook, dog. I was
Hey, you're
relying on the
wilding.
teacher's hand.
Out
I
of all
couldn't rely
subjects,
on
not
it.
to have a notebook
I
for.
had a file of handouts.
Y'all were wilding, man. Extreme sports.
I had a file of handouts and the textbook. Because it was literally the same material. I lost my chemistry notebook one time during the fire we had in school. And I was like, I'm not gonna rewrite this notebook. It's right. And when Form 4 came, I was like, I don't have the time to rewrite these notes. By the time I rewrite these notes, it will be exam season.
It'll be exam
and I'll
season,
be and I yeah.
But at least you had the
So I
handouts, so
decided
you had something to hold on to.
yeah, I decided to take the risky route of using that, which it did work. So I was relying on a lot of, it was just past papers, asking teachers a lot of questions, following teachers around, study groups, although I am not a big fan of study groups.
Oh, you like to work alone?
Not that I like to work alone. I like to ask for help on a specific question when I'm stuck. And then I proceed and do the rest of the stuff until I can't anymore. Because study groups, dog.
Sense. I feel like sometimes we do misuse study groups.
The thing is, it's study groups
because some people are over dependent on those.
Yeah.
When in fact you're just supposed to use them to kind of revise what you already know and to clarify things that you don't know about.
Exactly. There are two types of people. Okay, in study groups, there's going to be those people that work faster than others. So when they're in the study group, they're going to feel like they're being dragged, of which they are because they work fast. Then there are those people who are slower than others. And in the study group, if it's like people, they're going to feel like they're missing out because they don't work as fast as them. And then there are those people who are just there for the vibes, they just distract.
Yeah, because they're there just to chill and hang out.
Yeah. So like it's on a superficial level, they're good, yes. But should they be something that you should really rely on? No. I happen there are some issues with study groups whereby, let's say you don't want to join the study material on your own. You're called, hey, when they are selfish. Hey, you don't want to share your knowledge.
You don't want to share your knowledge. And then you get guilty joining.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean they were good, but yeah, they were right. So I think those are important. Everything, yeah, though that's what I was mostly doing. And then when exams came, how did you tackle the actual season of exams? Like after September, now it's October, November.
Getting into it, like preparation, like post preparation. I mean, it was mostly just past papers. So I guess it was mostly about finding like an optimum study area where I could spend an extended period of time actually doing some schoolwork and going through past papers and what have you. A place where I'm not chilling, not on my bed, because you can either sleep or you can end up lying on the side on your phone or something like that. So I had to find a space where I could actually do some studying for a long period.
Do some work.
Yeah, and then I said, past papers, those things helped because you get accustomed to the format of the examinations and how they ask certain questions. Because as much as they've tried to vary how they ask questions, there are always going to be certain what do you call them? Repeating factors when it comes to that. Yeah, there are going to be certain patterns when it comes to how they set up.
I think there was one person you mentioned. Maybe this was in A-level. I think it was a Chaya. She said one of the chemistry papers we wrote was a replica of a paper from like 1999, was it 2000 or something? A very old paper.
Bruh.
such that obviously it would be rare to find it in today's time. But she somehow got her hands on it. And when she was so shocked when she saw the paper and the exam.
Like,
and she was happy she got to yeah, and I don't know if she mentioned that she didn't revise it because she's like, this is old.
This is so old. Hey, the pain.
Oh.
Exactly. The pain. Yeah, but like I'm saying, they are going to repeat eventually. You get so doing as much past papers as possible really helps, and even study groups, not just for getting information, but to explain to others or to discuss certain concepts with people. I don't think a study group is an environment for you to learn new things. You get it's not an environment to learn. It's an environment to solidify your knowledge. And
your knowledge.
Yeah,
that's true.
You get.
I think that's what that's the common mistake that's made, especially in high school. You know, in high school, we're bound to make these mistakes because you're young and you think, these guys, they know the material, they can show me how it's done.
They can show me how it's
Bad
done.
place to learn.
Yeah, because we're always trying to look for shortcuts.
Past papers together. Yeah. I often notice, now that you mention it, I noticed that, let's say in that study group, we decide that answering questions from this past paper, or like we all come with our hard questions. Let's say we were doing past papers and then we did an answer and we circulate and like, I'll bring it up in the study group. That was our most productive time. When we were supposed to, like, let's say, summarize the notes on deforestation in geography, example. I mean, we'd get it done, but
then the conversation would end up going elsewhere.
It will go elsewhere, or you wouldn't feel like you've learned much. But when you were doing tackling actual problems, you learn more. So yeah, that was cool. I think,
you're right. When it comes to theory content, a lot of the times trying to do it in groups never seems really productive. But when it's something direct and
it never
comes to a certain question, something like that, it's more productive, like you said.
It's better. When what was more efficient in terms of like maybe studying and also just doing work was pairs, working in pairs, or maybe threes, but threes a crowd. Working in pairs, maybe to also discuss the material, like discussing the study the material, and also it was more efficient when you were doing the question papers, because like I said, two is company, three is a crowd. So when you're answering the question, you can tackle it really hard, and it's easier to come up with contesting debates without trying to overpower each other, because it's just the two of you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Form 4 and Form 5.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then when I wrote exams, simple rules for myself. One of the rules I set, in fact, I set this one at the beginning of Form 4, that when by the time I write exams, I want to sleep at 8 p.m. every night.
So that you get enough hours in.
Yeah. But just to flex, knowing that was just a bit of at the beginning, just a flex tactic, like, to show niggas I understand. To show niggas I'm not worried about tomorrow.
Sleepless nights.
Yeah. It isn't like, common high schooler, it's been like sleepless nights the night before I had exam. Now I was like, gents, now I want to sleep at 8 before the
sleep at 8. Then they're like, hey, boys. Then
boys, you see, just to get that bit of flex. But like later on, I actually took that seriously, and I had a reason as to like get more rest and actually like feel like I'm ready, just to boost your confidence. I mean, if you're sleeping early, you obviously know that you know your content. So in order to sleep
also,
early,
so I feel like sometimes the rest is always important, even like when you are not as confident.
When you know nothing,
as you want to be when it comes to your knowledge of content, because if you go into an exam after a sleepless night, the amount of mistakes you're going to make, especially if you're doing your SIP subjects, your CIMA subjects, sorry, you're not going to be able to do it to the best of your abilities. and with the best accuracy as
Yeah.
possible. Because you're going to be tired, and
Yeah.
your
I
brain
think
is going to trail off whilst you're writing, and all these different things. So sleep is
that's more
very
noticeable.
important.
Yeah. I think we'll talk about that when we discuss A levels, because that's where it's my A levels. That's a whole different thing. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So like when I was in Form 4, so I vowed I'm gonna sleep at 8. So in order to fulfill this vow, I have to spend the rest of the year putting in the work and actually making sure I understand the content. So that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I studied. I didn't mind sacrificing sleepless nights at the beginning of the year because I knew it didn't affect me in October.
Yeah, exactly.
9 months in between. So as long as I do the work in January, February, March,
you can show at the end.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And another vow that I think, that was the only rule I set for myself, actually. I think it affected everything else, how I did everything, because I just want to sleep at 8, my G. And that's one thing I'm happy I did during exams. Okay, it didn't work for all exams. I'm not saying I slept at 8 for every single examination, or not 8, but like early 8 or 9. 80% of them, I slept well on time, and I never had problems with sleeping on time. So, yeah, I think that's what's important. Getting yourself some rules for how you're going to conduct yourself during examinations. I didn't have problems with phones and internet and everything, so I didn't have to make myself rules. I'm not going to use my phone. I'm not going to be on the internet. I'm not going to talk to so and so. What. Everything
kind of fell together in that sense.
okay.
Yeah.
So
which made things a bit more
in terms of like, in terms of like the school I was in, and with regards to maybe my own personal mental health, I felt like it didn't affect my mental health by the time I was in Form 4. So I didn't have to make any sort of like mental health rules, or no, I'm going to stick to this type of group to avoid getting in this type of way. It was just vibes in terms of like friends and hanging out and everything. I didn't care, as long as I know I'm managing my time properly, as in when I'm supposed to be doing my schoolwork, I'm doing my
there.
Man, I do whatever I want. So that's all that I did. So I think my short piece of message, maybe to someone who's listening, is that okay, it's obviously too late for me to tell you to start putting in the work for the end of the year now, because like it's September now.
What about a contingency plan, for those who are panicking?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a contingency plan right now would be, because I also had some subjects where I had to put in a contingency plan course.
And it wasn't.
I was either during the class.
Yeah, for me, I had that devious subject you're talking about. I think I only started it a month before we closed term 2 for term 2. So that means I only had 1 month of learning. But fortunately enough for DVS, I did geography. So that means a lot of the content that we did in DVS, we had already done in geography. So I already knew a lot of it. So all I had to do really was mainly practicing past papers and maybe ask questions on certain terms that I didn't know, of which there were not really that many. So it wasn't as intense as, maybe taking another subject. Imagine I took accounting a month before we started writing. That would have been a nightmare. But even if you're panicking, like if you're writing Form 4 or Form 5, whatever it may be, at this point, just try and do as much past papers as possible, because those ones are the ones which will give you an indication of things that you know and things you don't know, and also your timings and so many different things. Like past papers are so important, so please take advantage of them and make good use of them.
I think another thing in terms of like contingency plan as well, like first thing you have to do that you are where you are and there's nothing you can do to change the past. Meaning, if you decided that you're not gonna study during the year and you are here and you don't know the material, accept that. Or if somehow something happened and your teacher didn't teach you the whole material and you are where you are, it has happened. Or like you didn't get you didn't get the whole syllabus, or the syllabus somehow you
Yeah,
missed.
because there are always these issues that you find.
Yeah, because that was me. There was a subject where we didn't finish the syllabus because we thought we finished the syllabus, but when you looked at the new past papers, we're like, okay,
What's this?
what's this now? So the teacher, yeah, we got a contingency plan. So the first thing you have to do is accept your position.
Yeah.
After you accept your position, you don't waste any time. You start doing, like we said, past papers, start solving the problems, start seeing what you know and what you don't know.
Because it's no use of you accepting and then just chilling.
And just lambing.
Saying, it's late.
You see, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm so glad that meme wasn't there when I was in Form 4.
Yo, the way I would have followed that motto with my life.
So yeah, yeah, after you do that, after you accept, start working, do your past papers, hunt your teachers down,
like try to optimize whatever chances and resources you have.
If you know something good, fair and fine, put it aside, focus on what you don't know, and just fight until the last day. That one, in terms of contingency plan, it's not over till the fat lady sings. Exactly. You will read until there's an exam. I think I read until 5 minutes before the exam.
And you're fighting.
Just those minutes, they kind of help. They pull through.
Because you're like, this is something that I hadn't read before.
Yeah. There was a chem paper. Teacher didn't show us experiment of a certain experiment. And we learned the experiment the morning before the exam.
Hey!
We had to drag that guy out of the staff room.
How does this thing work?
Hey, and he did that and it helped, So
yeah,
just do that, Maji. Yeah, I think we've touched on Form 4 now.
And then going into lower 6, how
A levels.
let's start with AS, because AS also was a different beast in itself.
Hey, Mona, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, AS, there are two things that happen. At least for us, I can speak for us, because we're the only AS students I know, and the people I schooled with. You enter AS with your 48 points, your nice A stars,
and confidence, grades. An ego as big as your head.
Dude, ego as huge as your head, and you feel like you've conquered Mount Everest, or you've sailed the 7 seas. Something. You feel so huge. I'd say it's a good you need that confidence when you're going to A-levels. I'm not even gonna lie. So you enter with this good confidence. That's one thing in A-levels. Now, after you enter into A-levels with that confidence, comes the real stuff. 1 week into A-levels, not even like a month in. A week in.
They were just 1 week in, because at first you'd be like, hey, I'm an A-level student,
Yeah,
We're wearing a different uniform from the other Oaks.
Exactly. Especially when you're switching schools, like us, when we went from one school to another. So like the school now has to know our grades, because they just want to know our standard of performance. And you feel so proud about saying your grades to everyone.
Yeah.
I got 48 points. I got this many A stars. And the teachers are also you can see they want to smile from from cheek to cheek.
Ear to ear.
Student has come to our school.
Hey, you become popular.
Yeah, yeah, you become popular, this smart guy. We have a new smart guy in our school.
Smart guy, blah blah.
Yeah, that confidence that's one thing. And then now, number 2, the hard stuff. Hey, when life now decides to say, hey, Baba, this is A levels. Take it easy.
This is calm down.
Hey,
Be humble. Sit down.
take a chill pill, Morena.
Because I remember us going in. Because isn't it for some students, especially let's say for subjects like maths, it wasn't exactic because ONS did ed maths.
Oh
And
yeah.
all these different. Remember, we had our own class because we didn't do
ed maths
at our schools. So for those other guys, mathematics was an issue for us, and then we were like, yo, actually no, math started with, was it graphs and functions?
It started with algebra.
Was it algebra? Yeah, so the algebra, which was slightly chilled, and then algebra morphed into functions, and then we were like, yo, what is this now? What is going on?
Yeah, and then when it morphed into functions and finding the maximum and the minimum,
and all these different things, the domains and the ranges and whatever.
Yeah, you see, I remember when our maths teacher now showed us how the quadratic formula came to be, like the proof of how I was like, no.
Bro, I was seeing dust.
I was like, no.
I was just seeing words on the board. Can't even lie to you.
Enough and quit now. And he's like, no, don't worry. I'm just flexing. You don't need to remember this.
You don't need to remember this. Yeah, because sometimes you get scared. You'll be like, wait, am I supposed to remember all this? Because now they start, introducing all these new Greek letters, putting them in there, your sigmas, all these different whatever.
And remember that first day, I think the first thing our teacher said, he was like, guys, we're behind in the syllabus. So
yeah, that is the first statement you ever hear.
What do you mean?
I can even testify, even exactly the same thing. We were already behind day one when we started lecture.
He didn't waste time. He just gave us our notebooks. Like, okay, let's start writing.
Let's start writing.
He didn't say, no, you need to cover this book. This is how I'm going to
learn
it. Nope. Wait.
No time for that.
Let's start. No time. And I think, for A levels, another thing that really maybe just the whole concept, the whole thing of switching schools, like transferring from this school to another school, and from an old culture to a new culture, old friends, new friends,
all these different.
And another thing for me was moving from a Christian school to a non-Christian school, a secular school per se. So it was so different, When I was in high school before A levels, we used to pray before every single class. We used to have devotion every morning. Just that culture. And then when you move to JMS, the teacher just says good morning and we move on.
And we move.
My G.
You kind of want to ask, like, aren't we gonna, morning devotion, KD. Something? Please. And I think the other thing which kind of shook me, but I was happy about, was us knocking off at 12. Because ONS had to go to the mosque on Fridays.
I was
Fridays
happy, dog.
Because I was like, the earlier we finish, the more time I have to enjoy this weekend.
Yeah, with A levels, man, I took my weekend seriously, and I don't even have an ounce of regret over my weekends in A levels.
Because they were well deserved, fam. Yo.
First of all, those Muslims really made our weekends longer, dog, and I'm very thankful.
Hey, bro.
Because, first of all, the lessons were 30 minutes long, so they were shorter. And we knocked off earlier.
Well, yeah. And you're like, yo, this life is good. Every Friday
life is good.
Yo. Because, during the week,
you do whatever you want.
For example, you remember those chem triples? So, was it 35 minutes usually per period?
Yeah.
So that meant 105 minutes of chemistry before lunch.
And
110.
Then
110, right? And then after lunch also, there's like an extra hour of chemistry again because we had afternoon lessons. So that was approximately 5 periods of chemistry in a day.
Actually, with the chemistry lesson as a triple, isn't it? I think 1 hour 45 minutes. Yeah, 1 yeah.
115,
so,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, gents, why? That was me every time we walked into that 3-period lesson.
Every time my eyes would be like this, bro. Every time I came out of that triple just before lunch. And the only time I'd ever had that in high school was for the maths paper 4, which we wrote.
Oh yeah.
In 2016, because that one was hectic. I think that was the first time ever I came out of a test and my eyes were really low. You get, now it was an every week thing.
Dude. And I remember like in the days when our teacher, Mr. Zach, it wasn't a day we were doing experiments.
Yeah.
We're just writing on the chalkboard.
Just
3-4 periods. Just notes, dog.
It was like a concentration camp.
Mona.
The intensity was on some other level.
What made matters worse is that man had 3 chalkboards in his lab.
Wait, there was more than 3.
Oh, let me say there were chalkboards on 3
walls. There were 5 to 6 divisions on which he could write.
Yeah, there were 3 walls that had chalkboards.
Yeah, like double chalkboards.
Yeah, there was the standard chalkboard that was in front of the class. Then there was one on the side. Then there was one at the back. I was like, hey, no. Are you going to write on all of these? That was me on the first day. I was like, you're going to write on all of these? And I was afraid of asking because, I'm new in school.
Yeah, and then I like, this one, he likes things. What is he asking?
Mona. Then when I noticed these guys also complaining, I was like, this is...
Yeah, at least I'm not alone. Because sometimes you feel like maybe I'm being too snobby by, having these inner complaints and stuff. I'm too spoiled. But then there's kind of a low-key comfort when everyone experiences the same pain as you do.
Dude. And then when A-levels, towards exams now, when exams actually came, it's very hard for me to talk about AS exams because I can't say I don't remember much, but like, it's complex. It's just complex, dog. There's a part of me that asks, how did I win? How did I pass AS exams? There's a part of me that asks, how did I not pass enough? And there's a part of me that asks, dude, when did you really study? Or like, hey,
it's just a jumbled mess.
Okay, let's just
because for me, I remember for me with AS, of course I did pass, but then I didn't pass to the extent that I wanted to pass. So I ended up having to rewrite certain papers the following year. I remember.
You see?
Because it was it was probably like one of the first times that I lived away from home and alone. And also I had a lot of internet access and Wi-Fi and series and all these different new things that I didn't really know how to manage. You get. And then it was all a mess. I was trying to figure myself out and also trying to find the balance of studying to a sufficient level. You get. So it was a really complex period, like you said. And of course,
shout out to Ruben, dog.
Yeah. Shout out to to Ruben. Absolutely.
When you talk about Wi-Fi, I remember there's a day when Ashafeng updated his whole MacBook on school Wi-Fi, dog.
Bruh.
Owns were tight. And then Ruben, I think he came in. He said, guys, who's using 25 gigabytes of data right now?
Then you're just looking around. Because for you, you'd be like watching a YouTube video or probably on Facebook or something. Then you just hear 2.5 gigs. And Ons would be gaming as well, playing League of Legends or something like that.
Exactly.
And then you're wondering. I think for me, my main downfall, if I'm being honest, when it came to lower 6, it was probably FIFA.
Yeah,
Because I used to play FIFA religiously, bro.
every day. You
Religiously.
Enoch and Bo Ellen.
Yeah, because ons would just land. Even during exam time, we would land like after a paper. Like, okay, let's jam for 2 hours now. I remember. Even
that
you
was
guys
my
were
coping
landing as well.
tactic. Yeah. We'd land like an hour or two, and then afterwards we'd go home and go.
Yeah, we'd only go home when someone gets walloped and enticed, and then they leave.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Then you decide, okay, no, let's part ways.
Go study.
I remember this other weekend during AS. Like, I remember it vividly. Like, we woke up we started playing FIFA from around 9 in the morning. It was on a Saturday. Started playing from around 9 in the morning. And then we were playing, and then Jiki, all of a sudden, the sun was setting outside. And then we were checking the time, it's 5 p.m. We thought we had only played like 3 or 4 games.
3 hours. Yeah.
And then,
that was me.
That wasn't 3 hours, bruh. Like that's like
the
just
whole
imagine
day.
From 9 to 5. That's a full job.
A full job.
Playing FIFA from 9 to 5. That's when I realized, this is too much now.
I think KD got me into online gaming during AS.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using this other game. I forgot the name of it. It was like a shooting game. Got me into it. I played it. And I also played this other game called Saints Row.
Hey, bro, those high-tech games, dangerous. The ones with storylines.
So like, yeah. So like, I think I finished that game about 3 times.
Bro, I always steer clear of things like Saints Row, Assassin's Creed, Halo. You see these games with storylines,
even because it had like alternate endings, you know.
You see, because of
I wanted to find out the alternate endings.
That wasn't a risk to take.
Never.
But I think you know what's one mistake I made when it came to FIFA. It was playing career mode. Because with guys like Enoch, they just play kickoff, and that's what you get. So there's no control.
You can just say, I don't want to. Now it's time for me to,
Yeah.
What's this studying?
Now imagine with career mode, you're like, okay, let me just finish this half of the season. There are like 2 or 3 games left. Let me just finish. Or let me just do this transfer. Or let me do this, let me do that. And then it became a really dangerous thing because now I'd spend so many hours per week dedicated to FIFA.
Career mode.
Doing something more productive.
Legit, eh?
So that was kind of, I guess, a lesson in itself of self-control and setting timetables and limiting yourself. Yeah, that was kind of a learning curve for me.
Being fully 100% independent. Form 4, there were times you had to do something because you were told to do it, like to study for a subject because you were told to study. Yes, on a fundamental level, no one really cares, my G. It's up to you. So I started studying a bit too late in AS. It took me time to learn my lesson. So
I can relate, fam. I can't even lie.
I saw this when I saw this other top achievers scholarship ad, I was like, oh, cool, should try that. Yeah, then I started studying. I was like, maybe I can get it. I put in a lot of effort, but like I think it was too late at that time to put in the amount of effort I was putting in. Maybe I put in the same effort from like March to October. Between March and June, I thought I was just figuring out everything about JMS and life in school in general.
Yeah, adjusting to a new environment, like you were saying.
Yeah. And then during exam season, I just tackled every exam as it came. There was no real rule of exams or anything.
Or strategy.
If the exam is hard, Baba, best believe I'm going to sleep at 11. Sleep at 11, 12, 1.
trying to figure out a certain
exam
concept.
we had a group call together.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out something. And there was this, I think it was a physics paper, the physics theory paper. Hey man, I've never passed this.
Yeah, we're touching sore areas now.
I'm even afraid of talking about it. Physics theory always ate me.
Exposing fraudulence out there.
Ate me, man. So like physics, even after Shuma taught them, even after I asked for help, dog, I go and face it alone. I'm like, what's this? Now I'm going to sleep.
I'm going to sleep.
So yeah, exactly. So there was that issues, and then stuff like maths. I used to struggle with mechanics, not struggle, but like there was those two, 3 concepts that really gave me a headache, and when I was in to know how to handle them, because the thing with exams is it's like you're playing a football match, not a football match. But okay, let's just use football. There are some players you don't know how to bypass, or some players you don't know how to defend, and they might score against you. So you have to make up a new plan.
Your number.
Yeah. So you have to learn how to manage them, but without putting them too much into your head. Because once they get into your head too much, your overall performance starts to drop.
Yeah,
so that is the
because
case.
you're putting all your energy into that one aspect.
Yeah, so that was my case with mechanics. There was this one, it wasn't even a topic like a section. It was just one question on free fall that really gave me, I couldn't sleep. I tried to figure out, and then I started panicking. I remember even in the exam, I started panicking. The question came out, the same question, but in different values. Then I flopped my maths mark because I was relying on mechanics to pick up my maths mark, right? So P1, as we all know, it wasn't the easiest of papers. So I told myself I'm going to do what's necessary to keep me, good.
Something decent.
Yeah, so I got like was it an 80% for P? And for mechanics, like I wanted to get like a 90 or above, so that my overall grade is an A. But like I got 80 on the dot, so dropped my grade to like a B. So like, I know the reasons why. Yeah, so
I think
I just told myself
one of the main challenges I had, like despite all the other things that were kicking me about, the main one was chemistry when it came to AS, because there was a whole lot of content that I kind of wasn't pushing myself to learn and to absorb throughout the year. You get, because I'm absorbing all these different things: music, sports, the new area, the new environment.
I was about to say that. You remember we went to Zambia in September?
Bruh, and then was it 2 weeks later we had a test?
2 weeks later. It wasn't even test, dog.
An
we had
exam,
mocks.
actually. Yeah, we had an exam. And then they were telling us, guys, please read. Did we actually read? Let's tell the truth.
Dog. Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. I packed my bag to Zambia. Fair and fine.
With the books, they were there.
From the deepest depth of my heart, first day I read.
You see, I remember seeing you reading.
Yeah, I remember I had to read. Yeah, there was a day you guys were watching a movie. Then I was like, nah, guys, now I'm skipping the movie. I'm going to read. And I went to read.
Night number 2.
No. Like, no, yes. Another day without being with, no. I can't come all the way to Lusaka. And then I'm going to be stuck behind a hotel room table just vibing with my chemistry book.
Chemistry book, sat. None of that.
I was like, no ways. But like, then I did myself a favor. That's one thing. Nigel taught me a trick. Early in the year, he taught me to record my notes. I like record and voice notes of myself. listening to them ever and wherever. So I
Mm.
did that about a month, 2 months before, prior to September,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I was doing. Well, when we were commuting, let's say from the hotel to the school to the schools or just around Lusaka,
Mm.
if I minimized listening to music and just listening to my school notes.
To your school notes.
So,
Hey, this guy, you got a life hack. Whilst some of us were busy living our best lives.
but dog, I'm gonna be honest. Another days when you're not even listening to the notes because like there's noise in the bus or like
Yeah, ones are singing.
a bus.
You know, people are planning what to
Exactly.
add to this piece, how to do this, how to do that,
Exactly.
because we had so many projects.
The fact that we went on a music trip, first of
Yeah.
all, it was
So we actually had to concentrate on some of the music.
exactly, you had to concentrate on the pieces you're going to sing. If you're
And also
playing
had
like
to
a
have some
guitar,
creative input, had to polish up certain things,
and you had to be socially,
open. Yeah, you couldn't be an introvert because we're visiting so many different schools and meeting so many different people.
Exactly, you can't just be stuck in your headset
listening to chemistry notes.
Waves.
Waves.
The fundamentals of we have.
Wait, but how did you do chemistry notes though? Just like I'm trying to think of
okay, it's chemistry notes.
No, it's not organic chem. How would you make notes for organic chem?
With organic chem, it's actually easier to record notes for organic chem because like with organic chem, organic chem, we're just taught keens, alcohols, carboxylic acids, so on.
So it was kind of tabulated.
Yeah, I tabulated them, and then there was just the list of reactions. Of course, in the exam, it's going to be different substances, but the fundamentals, like the groups and how they react, that's what I memorized. And the reaction, what I really made sure I memorized was the fundamental groups, the reaction conditions, and the catalysts.
And the catalysts, yeah. Because those are the main things that they would ask anyways when it
that
came
was
to
all.
organic chem.
But with the AC. So and then here's the thing also. Mr. Zach taught us organic chem in August. Was it July or August? So it was towards the end. So I was a bit fraud, dog.
Yeah, like I can't really be bothered.
Yeah, like I have to learn all this stuff. So I mean, yeah. So one thing, I mean, I don't regret going to Zambia in September.
But those are
I wouldn't advise someone to do it.
Those are like some of the best moments in memory, man. Zambia.
That is exactly.
That was the definition of you only live once.
Exactly. Top tier moments in my life.
It was lit.
But like I personally wouldn't advise someone to do that.
Yeah, it's a slightly dangerous thing to do, especially towards examinations, because your attention is kind of diverted.
Hard for a whole week.
Very hard.
Not a whole week, my G. Sometimes that happened. So yeah, and then when exams came, like I said, I was just taking every day as it was. Luckily with A levels, less likely to have exams every single day.
Yeah. Chances are less because you have fewer subjects.
Yeah, because you have like 4 subjects. They each have like 2 or 3 papers.
Yeah.
So it was okay. So that was the case. There were days I'd have like 1 exam a week. So I just study for that, especially if the exam is on like a Thursday or a Friday.
You'd probably study after you do the previous paper. You'd probably study for that one.
Only for that paper. Yeah. So that's what allowed me. I think for exam season. But in terms of like sleep schedule and hang out with friends, I did it. However, I'd hang out. That's how we ended up playing both FIFA or like I'd sleep. The days I sleep late just watching YouTube videos or like,
Yeah, it wasn't really a strict regime.
Yeah, it wasn't something strict. And then, upper 6.
Yeah, we got. I remember in upper six because that's when we got our AS results, and I wasn't happy, man. Even though like I passed and I did fine, but then I wasn't happy because I had a certain goal which I had set for myself, and I was like, nah.
I wasn't happy, dog.
The first 3 months, bro, I was intense. Because I remember even like all these minutes and stuff, I was getting really high marks because I was really motivated.
Hey, you guys hey man, I remember upper six, now that you mention it. So for me, it's upper six. Isn't that upper six? I got, okay, according to teachers, I passed. I got marks. So that's sort of like neutral. That, according to me, it neutralized my overall feeling. I was like, whatever, man. I was just,
it is what it is.
I was heavily considering dropping upper six, and I don't know, doing life as it however 2018 was going to treat me. But my mom just said, "Hey, bro, I already paid, so go to school."
Yeah, even for me, my mom, I remember because I wasn't happy, even though I passed and stuff. And my mom was like, "What do you wanna do?" And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna move forward with this thing. Because of course I could have like dropped it and yeah, you're saying?
I was saying, I think the other problem was also because I didn't know what I want to do. So I was like, let's just finish this.
Let's finish and see where it takes us. Yeah, because sometimes, it's uncomfortable. Just the sense of uncertainty. Uncertainty. So, it's quite uncomfortable and makes you uneasy. So I was like, let me just continue. And I was really motivated. I remember the first 3 months. I had a strict regime, bro. My studying, my whatever. It was top notch. I don't think I've ever studied that hard in my life.
I remember you, Redwan, and no, I'm not gonna put a chair in this picture because she's always been a smart girl,
bruh.
You, Redwan, and maybe Tonium. You guys were always hitting books, though.
Bro, because it was real out here.
Okay, let me just say you and Redwan, because you guys are the people I was most, you were most exposed to. You were the guys that I spent most of my time with. Man, you guys, I remember, like, I can't say I had a don't care mentality, but at the beginning of upper six, I was honestly, from the bottom of my heart, taking every day as it was.
As it came.
Of course, AS, I had a bit of, first month of upper six, dog, I didn't care about the following day, dog.
Yeah, I bet, and I bet you were probably thinking about Isa and Chop.
Yeah,
and sport and stuff.
Dog. It wasn't vibes, of course, but I was just like, screw this, dog. But it is what it, dog.
It is what it is.
And I had just switched places I was staying. Okay, that was the one thing I was thankful. Like, I switched accommodation, so that was the little.
One of the.
Wait. I didn't study, dog. I'll go to sleep or hang out with Lisa or like, I didn't hate upper six, but like I just didn't want it. I just didn't want what was happening at that specific time.
You were not in the wavelength of everything that was going on around you.
Yeah, and I felt like I disappointed myself by not getting the marks I wanted. So I was like, what am I? Because I wanted that scholarship right then.
Yeah.
Hey man, tech. So it was just and I think another thing that really demoralized me was the first chemistry lesson. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was so disappointed, dog. I remember it was a Tuesday morning, first day of school, because upper six was the only time I came to GMS on time for school. First time ever. Because last year we enrolled late and stuff.
And stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, because speaking of enrolling late, Mr. Lambert had to call, my mom, to tell me that I should come to school because the result came the day before. And then they're like, how come the guy isn't in school? They're like, we thought maybe he'd come next week. They're like, nah, we want him. And then I remember them having to get emergency recommendation. That's how I met you guys the first time.
Yeah.
And then I had to go on an afternoon bus, got into Francistown at 6, and then came to live with
like
the mom and stuff.
No uniform to school.
And yeah, I came wearing was it Chuck Taylor's and the
Chuck Taylor's sporty jeans.
Looking like a private school thug.
And to be honest, in GMS, that wasn't like the safest of looks, in the sense that niggas probably thought you were just out here at the blade.
Bruh. Like, yo, keep a distance. Might take your phone.
So I was also so tired. I was genuinely tired of A levels at that point.
And we have just started.
Yeah, me and maybe a couple of other people. KD was stressed. We didn't talk about it much, but I think he was stressed, possibly by also his marks. Victoria was stressed. Not stressed. She was tired like me.
Bro, everyone was stressed.
Hey, dog. There were days you come to school, red eyes, dog, and you're carrying 3 bags for school. There's a bag that has your school books, right? And
your training stuff.
Then there's a bag that has your lunch, and possibly even a bag that has if you have drama. Hey,
so the attires, bruh.
Hey, so it was just my bag after bag, and I just felt like I was being mentally drained on the first month. That's why that first lesson, Mr. Zach, it really threw me off though, because he was the first teacher to teach us on the first day. He just handed out books.
Yeah, it came with intensity, bro. He didn't even pause to welcome us, to prepare us mentally. Just
dude, I tried sharing a nice young decent human conversation with him, asking him, hey yo, how's your December holiday? The guy just hit me with it was fine.
It was fine.
Take your book and let's
start. Your book. Let's go.
And then he starts teaching organic chemistry. I'm like, look at this. No ways.
Bro.
I was like, what's this now?
Bro, you just started seeing funny shapes, hexagons, whatevers.
Dog, thrown off. I even have I took a young 10 seconds of footage of the first day of school. It's somewhere in my laptop. And I think I uploaded on YouTube. It's somewhere in my blog. One of my first YouTube video, you will find it.
Bro, are you sure?
I'm sitting in the library. I promise you will find it. I said school is messed up. I was tired, dog. Tired.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, then second week, okay. Then with months it got better, I became head boy. There was the whole
boy.
the whole athletics thing. So
hey, bro, the whole school spirit, vision, so many things going on.
Yeah, you see. And then when exams came, the year pretty much went really well after February. So in February, I decided to drop one subject and decided to focus on a certain number of things. I dropped one subject, I dropped some extracurricular activities.
Yeah, to get a bit of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember though towards the end, even though, like I said, the first 3 months for me, they were intense because I was determined to nail it. But then I
was getting 60s.
Because I remember, but then as time went on, I feel like I kind of reached a place somewhere around second term where I kind of low-key had a burnout. You get, and it even showed with the mock exams that there was a bit
I remember you guys had a burnout.
Because there was like high intensity. when it came to the way I studied and stuff. And then, so as the exams now started to come, I kind of had to find a balance between, of course, doing work, but of course, giving myself breathing space and a break so that I can perform at optimum levels. You get, because it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a chemical reaction happening. If it happens at too high a temperature or at too high concentrations or intensity, it won't. If it happens at too low of an intensity or temperature, it won't happen. But then there has to be that optimum where there is maximum production. So I kind of had to get some into that headspace where I had an optimum what can I say, timetable when it came to my study time and when it came to my leisure time.
Yeah.
So that was a really important thing that I had to figure out. And I think that was one of the lessons learned as well, that I shouldn't just go all in from day one and run it like it's a 100-meter sprint, but rather treat it as a marathon and have a bit of marathon around it.
You know, now that you mentioned marathon, you remember there's a time we were actually in the long distance club marathon challenge.
Oh yeah. Was it term 1?
Term 1 and maybe a bit of term 2, and then it's
maybe like, at the beginning, because towards the end of term 2 or the middle of term 2, we had the drama and stuff.
Things got a bit too busy,
and also other sports like soccer, basketball, whatever.
Yeah. So like when that marathon challenge came, that marathon challenge really changed the way I viewed my life, mental health, physical health, everything, but especially my mental health and resilience, because I knew I can't sprint the whole way.
Yeah.
And one thing, when I was still very, very new at marathon challenge, there were people who were faster than me. Now I was one person who always wanted to be the fastest in everything, the best, the fastest, the strongest, you know, the wisest, whatever.
Just a determination.
But it really showed me that, of course, these guys have ran previous marathons, or they've ran this distance more than once, longer than I have. That's why they have this experience. That's why they can run faster. They have more stamina and they're more ahead. So it told me that if I just do it day by day, every day doing maybe the same thing, keeping the same, trying to get better at my own level, and doing that, and also doing the necessary things outside even the marathon, but that contribute to my overall marathon wellness, I'd be better. So I applied that concept and theory into my study life, as in, of course, I have to study every day. Of course, I have to do my schoolwork. But not only that, outside my schoolwork and studying, the things that I'm doing and academic, are they contributing to my overall school life? Am I hanging out with the correct friends? Am I engaging in the right activities? Am I actually having fun? Because I mean, if you're not having fun, you're not gonna.
What's the point?
You're gonna fizz out. You're gonna burn out.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. So yeah, that was it. Marathon was.
Yeah, as you said, it kind of gave us lessons that we're even applying to this very day of taking it day by day and having consistency. Because I think you can even attest to this, of where if you maybe skip a week more than you're supposed to when it came to your a certain day to run a certain distance, you'd realize that maybe your speed would have gone down, or your average pace would have gone down the next time you do the run. So
or even your stamina.
Yeah, or even your stamina, you become way more tired than you would have been. Because I remember there was a time when I ran like, was it 10 kilometers in a certain period of time, and I wasn't like spent or really tired. But then I stopped running, I think, was it about 3 to 4 weeks, and then I ran 1.5 and I was gone. You get.
Yeah, you see, so it happens. I think now towards exams, A levels, Yeah, now this was the one time in my entire life. You remember I mentioned that all the other times was just vibing and maybe I started studying late. Everything I decided to start to study for exams at the beginning of term 2. I decided to start doing past papers at the beginning of term 2. I had already pre-downloaded, like as soon as, after May Junes are written, the May June papers come. As soon as those things came out, I had already had all the other past papers. I didn't start downloading past papers when May Junes came out. So I took the extra initiative to get work done. I built proper relationships with most of my teachers. So, hey man, when I got into exam season, I wish I had put that energy in all areas of my life, my G. It was just so perfect. It was just so beautiful.
It's a wonderful life. Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience because I also took back that idea where I'm sleeping back at 8. I didn't take every exam like it. Okay, I set myself a time frame, but this time wasn't 8. Told myself,
yeah, I mean, I'd be really impressed if you really slept at 8.
Not 4 anymore. I told myself, hey, Baba, 10:30, you're sleeping.
You're sleeping.
The following morning, when KK comes, you should be awake.
Yeah. That strict regiment definitely helps. And I remember I had to force myself to cook proper food and stuff because I was living alone. You get, during my time when I was doing both AS and A level. Even though during AS I had a roommate, but during A levels I was living alone. So I had to
living alone.
So I had to remind myself to hydrate, to eat proper food, to cook, because a lot of times you'd be tempted to be like, "Ish, I just came from a chem lesson in the afternoon. Let me just eat bread and go sleep.
Bread and juice and just doze.
Bread and juice. Yeah, it was something that I did for a while. Then I realized it's actually these small little details that matter, that get you to the performance level that you want to.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, so I think now that I think about it, at the beginning of A levels, I think that's another thing that contributed, my diet. So at the beginning, my diet was super terrible. I started living with more people. It wasn't no longer was just me and KD now living together. So it was me, KD, Bugs, Dane, and Tompo. So dog, there were days someone would cast, maybe someone would buy Nutella. I don't know if you know Nutella.
Yeah, I know Nutella, yeah.
We struck a deal with Auntie Lillian that every night before we sleep, she leaves a loaf of bread in our room.
Yo, makes sense.
So we had a loaf of bread every night, and then we had Nutella and maybe peanut butter and most of margarine, and we had a fridge on our flat. And another thing was and someone bought coffee. I don't know, I forgot who, but so at 10:30, Mona, you'd find me holding a cup of coffee, 4 or 5 slices of bread,
Nutella,
and Nutella heavy. And I think that affected, when you eat late and you're eating fatty foods and all that, sort of affects your overall well-being. So that's one thing. Eating wholesome food. I think another thing I applied, maybe whoever's listening to this should also, or whoever should share it with whoever's listening. What? Every morning before my exam, maybe other days I could skip, but every morning other than on the day of my of an exam, I take a jog, I take a run, whether I liked it or not. So at 6 usually, was normally at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Get up. I get in my jogging clothes or shorts, t-shirt, put on my running shoes, hit the road. I run 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, dude. It really doesn't matter as long as I feel like I've ran.
Yeah.
Science to it or anything. It was just, of course, there is a science to it, but that wasn't why I did it. It was just something I told myself, I'm gonna run before I go to school. It cleared my mind. That's what I felt.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's all these small things that it seems a lot of the time we like neglect to get because of instead of running or instead of working out or instead of cooking, wasting all this time, I could be doing a past paper or I could be studying this topic or whatever. But those are not excuses that we should let into our mind, because those things
we should be
are going
ourselves.
to affect how you study, how you revise, how you're going to retain that information you're trying to put into your head. So these things are important as much as we might think they're ineffective or they're mundane.
Yeah, they're mundane. So I'd say to anyone listening, pick a routine for yourself, during exams especially. Try keep it as strict as and be hard on yourself to try keep it as strict as possible.
Because the more you follow that routine, the more likely you're going to see the benefits.
Yeah, figure out what you want to eat, how you want to eat, what time you want to sleep, what time you want to study, where you're going to study, who you're going to study with, if at all you're going to study with someone. Also, try and zoom in onto like the times you want to see teachers appoint, make so that your time and that time is sort of like planned out, because you don't just surprise a teacher and say, hey, I want to see you.
You want to do this because they have things they're doing. It's not like they're just waiting for you.
Yeah, you see. And also it's just for you, man. You have things you have to do, and seeing the teacher is not everything you have to do. Sometimes, to be honest, there were days I went to see my teacher just for a confidence boost, not because I wanted
not because you wanted anything.
Yeah, man. I just went. I remember one lesson I went to Ahmed's teacher, Ms. Ganyani, the day before stats. Dog, I was acing those maths papers by the time stats came. So I was getting 49s out of 50s, 50s out of 50s. So, but like that week, I felt like I wasn't ready or something. So I just went to just go see her, just to boost my confidence.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask her any questions. It was just there, like basically just having a nice, decent vibes, dog. Vibes.
Yeah.
It was just vibes.
As much as we have been demonizing vibes all this time. Vibes are important as well. Because I remember sometimes even
talk,
I'd have like conversation with some of the teachers, like Mr. Chucks or whatever. And afterwards you'd feel better and you'd feel more confident about what
you'd feel confident.
Sometimes you just need to speak to someone.
Yeah, you see, you just need to speak to someone. And she's just assuring me, dog, you've been doing well for this past term. There's really no need for me to tell you what to do. There's nothing extra you need. Dog, just you can chill here. I mean, of course, and maybe discuss some things with people who need help and do that. But like, as far as readiness is for you and stats, they are ready.
You said.
And that really it made me feel ready for the exam. Or sometimes you don't, even if it's not a teacher who teaches you, go talk to them.
Yeah.
Like you said, you went to go talk to Chucks. Chucks never taught any of us.
Yeah, he never taught any of us.
But Chucks was friendly with us. Chucks is this. Chucks, he never taught me, you, or KD, but he liked the three of us.
Yeah, he never taught any of us.
Hey, he's always on KD, dog.
And the one that also KD was a handful. Can't even lie.
KD.
The thing with these super smart kids, they, sometimes They are very spontaneous.
Yeah,
and you never know what's coming next. So in that way, I guess that makes
yeah,
it
hey,
unique
man.
in its own way.
Yeah, I like KD, man. I like him because of that. Yeah, so you just need to just take time, build your confidence, and what else? What would you suggest to someone who's about to write exams?
Of course, like what we've been talking about, having proper eating and also hydration, drinking water.
Yeah, my G, water. I think I sleep drinking water because to me it's already it's a mundane task. It has to be done. Like it's so simple. Just put water in a bottle and drink.
Drink it.
So it's not something
like
I readily
advertising a label for the bottle.
Nice.
Nice.
This is just a bottle I got in my regular grocery store. It's nothing special. So like I'd sleep on this advice, but such that I know that I have to drink water. So please drink water.
Because water sometimes even for me, since like this side is not that cold, sometimes you almost forget to drink water for a whole day or something.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So sometimes you kind of have to make it a task so that it comes naturally as time goes. And those little things, like I've been saying, they really benefit you. And even like beyond examinations, you should also look into what you want for your future, which is quite important because a lot of the time, our career guidance it's not as good as it could be. You get no matter where you live or where
that's
you
true
in the world.
A
lot of the times you're always going to have confusion as to what you want to do. It's not all the time that you're going to be likely to realize that this is something I want to do for a very long time, if not for the rest of your life.
Actually, now that I think about it, a failure is what set me up. Like a failure I went through is what showed me what I want, and like in terms of like career, at least a school-based career. So I think we'll talk about that in the next episode. But like, yeah, right. It's good to figure out what you want. It's very hard wherever you live to get a lot of career advice
because a lot of time the career advice you get the career advice you get it's very general. It's very general, and it's kind of like if you do maths, physics, then maybe you can go into engineering or you can go into piloting. It's never really custom made to how you think. Are you an analytical?
You just list your possibilities.
Are you an analytical thinker? Are you a quick problem solver? All these different things are never put into account. So I feel like as early as possible, you just try to figure yourself out and try to see, what could be the best thing for yourself and what could be something that you might enjoy, not just at face value, but in detail.
In detail. I think that was my case as well because I had to take time to face, like, to forget what I enjoy. But like, I had to take time to figure out what I wanted. It wasn't until my very, very last stretch of high school, very, very last stretch, not even like 1, 2, like at the beginning of my final years of high school, very, very last stretch, I had to figure. I now zeroed in on what I want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, man. Have a goal. Set a goal of what you want to work.
And also have a plan B, because life doesn't always go the way that you'd want it to go. You get, like for example, myself. This is this course which I'm doing was not my plan A. You get.
This is my plan B, my G.
This is plan B. You get. So,
Who'd
but
think I'd
then,
be here?
nonetheless, I'm enjoying the courses I'm doing, and I'm
Yeah,
opening
me too.
myself to different options. So it's important to always have a plan A, have a plan B. Also
I think
try and look for a side hustle as well. You get, not so that you are not just one
even
dimensional.
plan B.
Yeah,
One B.
because sometimes you go mad, especially with engineering. If you're just
You
stuck
go
on your
mad,
books, you go mad.
I think
Sometimes you need to step out of that sphere of constant problem solving, and you need to get into a
that's
different
something.
mindset.
That's true. I think podcasting or shooting videos, taking photos, to me that's what gets me out of my engineering life. So and I recently got a job as a content creator.
Hey, escape the man.
Yeah. It's not that much, man. It's just to pay the bills, dog.
Yeah, this guy. So I ban Nando's as well. Like, hey, we've been day one.
This guy. I don't even have Nando's here, and you want me to get you Nando's?
Yeah, but you see, it's good to have all these different things. Like, I wish, I could be doing something. If it wasn't for this lockdown, maybe I could have been doing something with music, or, I might have gotten into theater again because I really enjoyed the play that we did. And, yeah, that was.
I can't get into theater. I don't think I'm ready yet because it's in Russian.
Yeah, so
I'll give it time.
Yeah,
I'll give it time.
You give it. So all these different things that you can get yourself into, so that you just take your mind off. So that when you go back, you are fresh, and you can go at it from a different angle if you need to. So it's really important to diversify your activities and to have fun, like you said, to try and enjoy your experience as much as possible.
Yeah, and like even if you don't have a plan B per se, be open to one.
Yeah,
I'm not a plan B person in terms of I feel to me a plan B is like a big distraction because I'm going to start thinking of it instead of a plan A.
Yeah, and you're going to start saying, hey, details about plan B.
But I'm like, drops after tech, we'll drop it and we'll look for a plan B. Not if plan A drops, I'm done with this.
Yeah, you see.
If
and
plan A flops,
sometimes a mistake that we might make is, as soon as the going gets tough with plan A, we start looking for comfort in plan B. You get, which is a mistake a lot of people make, because sometimes you're probably going to come across something similar within that plan B. Get. So we shouldn't try and cultivate a culture of throwing the toys out of our pram and running to plan B as soon as the going gets tough. We should cultivate a culture of not giving up, and not only dropping the ball when the fat lady sings.
You see? So that's I think that's all. That's true. And then in terms of like results, since we've talked about exams and basically the mindset and basically how we felt and everything. I think in terms of results, I'll just summarize like my my last results, because if you start talking from the beginning, we might spend too much time.
Bruh.
I expected whatever, honestly. I didn't have, of course I had expectations, but after you write the paper, you already know how you feel, how you felt. Like,
yeah.
So let's say I had accepted the situation of whatever comes,
let it be.
I'm going to be disappointed or I'm not going to be happy, but it was my effort.
Yeah. Because you know how much effort and time you put into it. Yeah, and that's what was important for you.
Yeah, and you have to be honest with yourself when you find out, when you think about how much effort and time you put into something. And like you said, afterwards, after you get your results and well, Baba, whether you finished in Form 4 or you finished in Form 6 like us, the real world waits for you, and you put your money and time and all your resources into getting the grades that you got. So do whatever you need to do to go into the next step of life.
To secure the bag.
Secure the bag, Baba! Secure the bag!
Yeah, with my results, I was fairly pleased with them because I know how much time and effort I put, and I liked how balanced they were. Because you know, for some reason I was kind of scared that I wasn't putting enough attention for all the because isn't it I told you that I was rewriting some of the papers from last year. So the issue of balance was something I was low-key worried about because I had to give kind of an almost equivalent attention to each subject or each paper, of which it seems like I did fairly well according to my results. So it's something that I was fairly satisfied with. And yeah,
I think I was also satisfied. Any grade, I can't say I'm not satisfied. As in, like, yeah, I mean, of course, I wanted 3 A's, but I missed it by a couple of percent. But I didn't feel like it was the end of the world. I was okay with the marks I got. I was a bit disappointed, however, that I had to drop IT because life.
Yeah, because your IT was intense. I dropped it immediately because I saw there's no future here.
Yeah, I remember. For me, ICT, the problem, I mean, I got an A in AS, but I couldn't continue in A2 because the workload was too much for me to bear.
Yeah.
And I could have maintained that AS, but at what cost with regards to my other subjects? So that's
and also it was also a combination of the also maybe there were a few papers that you were redoing and stuff, and that would have added even more pressure.
Yeah. No, I actually didn't do. Hey, man, I was one of the few students who didn't rewrite papers. I was actually sat down by the Mr. Chaka, head of department, and I sat down with some of my teachers, just discussing my marks and my subject, my subject if I want to rewrite or anything. Because I felt like I wanted to rewrite. I wanted to rewrite maths and physics because I had just gotten just enough, like 3% in each below an A grade.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe if I rewrite, it can just move this to just slightly above an A, so that even when I don't get a good mark in AS, I mean in A2, those AS rewrites can step up my grade.
Can step
your
grade, so that you give yourself a sort of parachute landing.
Big risk. I remember with maths, my teacher, Ms. Ginyani, she blatantly refused, like, nope, you are not rewriting. You got good marks. You're going to pass A2, and we're going to make sure you pass. I tried. I was like, ma'am, no, please, look, let's talk. Wait. I'm like, and then I went to Mr. Ndutle, previous maths teacher. He's like, no, you don't need to rewrite, dog. You got 78.
Yeah, it's not a must.
Gave up. Chaka also called me. I think he called all of us one by one. I don't know if he called you if you wanted to rewrite and ask you and all of that.
Did he call me? Because the thing is, we got the same mark for maths. So that means probably he didn't call me. Otherwise, he would have probably told me the same thing.
No, he called, like, there was a week he was just calling Form 6s, especially those who were doing 4 subjects at the time. I was one of them. He's like,
oh yeah, I wasn't doing 4, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So hey, yeah, after that week, I just decided to lighten the load. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed that I had to. Not disappointed. I was saddened that I had to drop the subject I performed the most in. But life, man, life is full of sacrifices.
Yeah, and to be real, it was probably going to be the most useless one. If we were to be honest.
Yes and no.
It was mostly going to be useless
nowadays because I'm doing an IT course, and I'm doing mechatronics. So okay, I don't know what.
Yeah, but no, it's just basic concepts. Like a lot of things that we use IT for is probably just things. Probably not. Yeah, because I'm kind of disappointed we didn't have subjects like computer science. You know, things that we're actually doing now.
To be honest, from the bottom of my heart, I don't even know if I was gonna pick that subject
because of intensity.
I like the challenge, but there were some challenges I avoided. Science was
this is not a beast I want to face as of yet.
Yeah, not now, not then. But I think that's school in a nutshell, man. Yeah. High school in a nutshell. Exams in a nutshell. It's a fun time.
Yeah, good times.
Now we're trying to maintain our GPAs.
Bruh.
Life.
Bruh. So sometimes it's not even a fact of maintaining GPA, but of just staying afloat so that you can go to next semester.
Staying afloat, dog. That's me exactly right now. I'm trying to stay out.
Yeah, especially during this whole lockdown thing, it's a whole different.
My G. No cap even. No cap. But I mean, we move. We just do what we can to get where we go. And I think
the next level.
After high school, what I noticed, for me, what works for me is not the kind of grades I want, but what I want to do. Therefore, if I know what I want to do, I'm gonna know what I need. So that's how I approached university life. I need to get a GPA of such and such so that I remain in school, so that I can do this, so that I can continue being in this country and continue doing what I love while I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to have an end.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of end goal so that you have something to look towards and to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing with myself, just trying to, get to a certain level where I can kind of make it easier, when let's say, for example, for my parents, or to make it easier for myself. That's why I take interest in so many different ventures, so that I minimize the amount of stress that my parents have and the amount of stress that all my other family members who would support me in one way or another would have, and try to gain as much independence as possible, but also keeping a balance and
a heavy balance.
Yeah, because that's always important, and that's always a fundamental ingredient when it comes to success. Did I just say ingredient?
Ingredient.
It's late. But it's 11 o'clock. Allow it.
Yeah, man. I have to go do my schoolwork now.
Hey, for you it's midnight. Yes.
I have to write lecture notes that are due tomorrow morning, but I have an 8 a.m. So I think we should call this.
Yeah, I think it's time to go as well. I have 2 tests.
Let me check if the 8 a.m. is in school or online. It's in school, so damn it.
Yeah.
Life, man.
What can we do?
I'm probably gonna binge.
I'll probably binge myself as well, but I'm probably good, since I did do a bit of studying in the afternoon. But then I'm probably going to touch up on a few things, just to gain confidence. And then I go and sleep because it's late.
Yeah, that's true. So let's call. This is a good episode, actually. It's a good episode.
Cool.
We took longer than we intended.
Yeah, that means we had interesting conversations. So, I don't mind.
Yeah. I think we should call it. We can call it.
Yeah, we can definitely call it a day. So yeah, this is us having to go because we have school to do and pressure is mounting.
And life to tackle.
Yeah, and life to tackle. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember also to turn the bell notification as well, so that you know when we post our new episodes. And also go and look out for our social media handles, The Soul Engineer, on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And I'm guessing on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, and on Twitter as well.
On all platforms.
And on all platforms. Yeah, just also give us a bit of feedback. So
yeah, man.
So we can kind of have a dialogue between you guys, like with you guys, and we can take this thing to the next level. Yeah, so this has been Masimba Togara and The Soul Engineer. We'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.